When I first arrived in Warsaw, I didn't really know what to expect. I'd read about World War II, about the uprising, about how the city was destroyed and rebuilt from ashes. But standing here, it's different. There's a silence that hangs in the air. Not sad, not heavy, just present. I got here by bus, with my backpack, my tired eyes, and no real plan except to keep going. Traveling alone sounds romantic online, but in reality, it's quite a test of patience, silence, and being okay with yourself and being alone. Warsaw was once almost completely destroyed. 85% of the city gone, bombed, burned, erased. And yet some people decided to rebuild it, brick by brick, memory by memory. Every corner of the old town is replica, not a fake, but people trying to remember what it once was. And it's proof that even after everything falls apart, you can start again. And the truth is, travel isn't always freedom. Sometimes it's isolation in disguise. There are days I wake up in a new city surrounded by people and feel completely alone. I miss home, not the place, but the feeling of belonging. You realize that no city will fix what's missing inside of you. It can inspire you, yes, but rebuilding, that happens within. But Warsaw, it has this quiet strength. One morning I woke up early and just started walking. No plan, no map, just the sound of the city waking up. And for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel homesick. I felt grateful to be here, alive, wandering through a city that refused to disappear. And maybe that's what I've been looking for this whole time. Not an escape, not a distraction, but proof that no matter how lost you feel, you can always start again. Warsaw taught me something unexpected. That strength isn't loud, it's quiet. It's the decision to keep showing up, even when no one's watching. Maybe I'll never fully understand this city, but I'll remember how it made me feel. Like I was once part of something bigger, something still healing and still rebuilding. And maybe that's what travel really is, learning from the world and how to rebuild yourself. This is Warsaw.
Hello everybody. I just want to let everyone know before we move on to the second part of today's video that I released a power grade. The power grade make every piece of footage that I film look extremely cinematic, and it's what I use for all of my videos. So if you want to go check it out, it's the first link in the description below, but let's get back to the video.
Hey, I'm in my hostel right now. I just got back from Warsaw and I loved it. It was great. Yeah, I got to Warsaw and I was feeling probably more homesick than any other place that I've been so far. And Warsaw, like the people in Warsaw are a little cold, and so it's not like being in a hostel. I was gonna go out and meet a ton of people because everyone has friends, and you can only really meet people in like clubs and stuff or at your hostel. And so the first few days I was just, since I'm traveling solo, I didn't really have anyone to sort of connect with. And I went on some solo walking tours through the old town of Warsaw, and that was very beautiful. And went through like a free tour guide. But it just felt like I was going to, not meet anyone my age it just felt like I wasn't going to meet anyone, and everyone in my hostel sort of kept to themselves anyway. And I don't know what it was about this hostel, but not a lot of people my age were there. It was mostly like middle-aged people, and I mean, it was really cheap. All of my dorm mates in my hostel were fairly nice, but they were all older or in friend groups already, so I didn't really hang out with them. But then one day I was going to the bus, and I was traveling around, and I was going to the Palace of Culture and Science. That's that big sort of communist building in Warsaw that towers above everything else. And on the bus, I met these 3 exchange students from Spain, and they were super nice. I started talking to them, and they were asking me where I was from, and I was asking where they were from. And when I heard they were from Spain, I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I asked if there was anything fun to do because I was sort of getting bored. This was like my 3rd day, I think. So I was starting to get bored, and I was asking them what there was to do, if there are any like clubs to go to, because I wanted to meet people my age. And they said they were going to a club called Teatro Cubano, which is like a Latin club in Warsaw. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. And I don't know how it came about, but they invited me to go and like with all of their friends, and I got one of their Instagrams, and they were going to meet up on Monday, I believe, and it was like Saturday, so it was a few days. And so I got off the bus and I was like, oh, that's gonna be fun, and I went to the Palace of Culture and Science. It's a beautiful building. I know a lot of people in Warsaw don't actually really like it that much because it's a sort of symbol of communism and sort of Stalin and all that sort of stuff, but I walked around and it was beautiful. I didn't go to the top because, I don't know, I wanted to save money at the time. But I was walking around there for a while, I got some food, and then I went back to the hostel. And then for the next day, I spent the entire day perfecting my power grade that I made for Da Vinci. And yeah, I mean, overall, with that power grade, I spent probably 50 hours doing research and trying to perfect it to the best of my ability. And so I think it turned out really, really good. And yeah, and so you guys can get that if you want. And I really think you'd like it, because it just makes everything look really cool on a camera, especially at Sony, because I film on a Sony. But I don't think a lot of people talk about sort of the reality of doing a solo trip like this, because although I am getting better at meeting people, at first it was really tough because I've never done something like this before. And like in college and stuff, people, like, you're sort of forced to meet people, but when you're just out and about, no one's forcing you to do anything, so you can just sit in your hostel the whole day and, you know, chill, which is fine, but I wanted to meet people. Also, it's tough, like, when the people in your hostel are a lot older than you, or just like aren't really talkative, or are in their own friend groups, because then you don't feel as comfortable talking to them. And I am getting better at that, which is good. But yeah, and I would see like big groups of friends walking on the street, or like couples walking at night, and I would get jealous about like me being alone. But I mean, I've met some really, really cool people so far. So as much as I think about that, I'm also meeting a ton of cool people. And then Monday night rolled around, and then I went over to the Spanish people's dorms, and they were drinking beforehand, and I walked into a room and it was like probably 50 Spanish speakers from Spain, and I was totally out of my comfort zone. Like, they were all out asking me about like America and all that sort of stuff, and I just felt like, oh my god, what did I get myself into? But they were all super nice, so I wasn't complaining. And then we all went to the Teatro Cubano, and that was really, really fun. And I love Latin clubs because they, like, everyone actually dances, and I like that, so I thought it was fun. Yeah, while I was there, I met a girl, and she was super nice, and she was from Spain. She was from Valencia, and I met her that night, and she was really, really nice, and we hit it off, and so we hung out for a little bit. And then after we all went home after the club, she invited me, not the next day but the day before, which is my last day in Warsaw, to meet up again in the evening and get something to eat and sort of hang out for a little bit. And we did that and had a great time. Stayed out until about, I don't know, 9 or something. I needed to get up really early to catch my bus to Prague. But yeah, it's tough, especially like meeting all the Spanish people who I was considering friends now, and meeting that one girl as well. It's hard sort of leaving everything behind when you are sort of traveling so much, and it could definitely be tough to, yeah, like I said, just leave everything behind, leave the friends that you made there, because you're only really there for a week or a few days. And yeah, and sort of this culture is sort of, you have to leave everyone behind wherever you go. And I met someone here in Prague who was telling me about that, and it's sort of like, yeah, I don't think you've ever meet as much people that you're never going to see again as you do when you're traveling solo. But you never know, I could see some of them again if I go to Spain for a long period of time, or I don't know, people that I meet along the way. And yeah, so far this trip has been amazing, and I'm loving it. So yeah.